100-year-old fairy tale, which went on to inspire the 1937 animated classic. But Disney have announced that their upcoming live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs will look quite a bit different.
Now, this follows comments made by Game of Thrones star Peter Dinklage, who said it was backwards to include dwarves in the remake, which prompted Disney to confirm that they're now going to take a new approach with the characters.
This has caused quite a bit of upset. We're joined now by actors Choon and Dylan Postl, who both say they rely on parts like these to make a living. Good morning to both of you. Morning, Choon.
Good morning.
And good morning to you, Dylan, as well. Let's start off with you, Dylan, because you have played so many roles on film and TV, but you started out as a wrestler. How did this all come about?
So since I was 4 years old, my absolute dream was to be a professional wrestler in WWE. With my stature and my size and whatnot, I'm not the typical WWE superstar. I'm not 6 foot. I'm not 250 pounds. But WWE in 2006 had a role for me as Hornswoggle, the leprechaun to Finley, and they casted me in this role. And for just under 10 years, I was able to live my absolute dream in that role and travel the world and be on worldwide television, making a name for myself. And again, just living my dream. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to make with this whole thing. With what Dinklage said in his comments, he's taking dream roles away that were made, that were set in stone for 7 dwarf actors. Actors that dream of being in a Disney film, because as we know, Disney, they don't do things on a small scale, especially with a readaptation like this. This was going to be a huge, huge film. So he, by being progressive in his mind and what he was trying to do and says he's trying to do, is really doing the opposite and taking dreams away and potential roles away from 7 dwarf actors. And I think it's a shame. I really do. And I think it doesn't make any sense to me that we're taking one person's voice for the whole community. And I just feel like it's not right.
Yeah, and I can totally empathise with that. I just want to say here, there's a statement from Disney, and they said, to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more of the film, more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. Now, it's not clear what the different approach is and what that means for the 7 dwarf characters. Now, I know, Choon, that you've done a lot of acting work. Also, you've actually been in a pantomime version of the show. Yeah. So for this to now take on a different approach, and perhaps, we don't know what that is yet, this really is going to change things for the likes of yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it could have a knock-on effect to other productions that are scared to employ people who are little or have dwarfism, and in fear of being attacked or being derogatory, which it's not, because the role is for dwarfs. It says it in the title. And they're not exactly villainous characters or made out to be anything less, because they are heroes in the story. And I think he said they live in a cave, but I'm pretty sure they live in a cottage.
Yeah. And also,
they live in a cottage. They live in a cottage surrounded by gems. They're working class dwarves.
Yeah.
And they also are like a father figure to the princess in Snow White. And also each of the 7 have different characteristics, making them different from each other and showing children how it's okay to be different in those characteristics. He didn't do, I don't know if he didn't do his research or was just speaking off the cuff or what it was, but he didn't tell the story in the way that it truly is.
Do you think, Dylan, this could be an example here of cancel culture going a bit too far?
I think it's 100%. I think it's, like I said, it's one person representing a community, unfortunately, and one person waving that white flag, or that red flag, actually, and saying, hey, what are we doing here? And everyone coming to a halt before talking to the whole community. And maybe not even the whole community, but a couple different members of said community. And I can argue too, hey, he's been in major roles from Game of Thrones to Elf. But what were those cast as? Those were
dwarfs,
little people, dwarf roles.
Yeah.
Those checks cashed just fine. He knew what he was getting himself into there. It's unfortunate that his voice is the one representing, the only one representing the dwarf community.
Do you think it comes from a place of maybe a little bit hypocritical in the sense of like he has done roles where he's earned money being a dwarf, which he is.
Yeah.
You know, do you think maybe he lives a nice life, he's got a lot of money now?
It's cool. Yeah, I think it's really selfish of him because he's made it now and he's taken the opportunity away from other people that have dwarfism, and he knows the position that we've been through. I'm sure he's walked the path. It's been difficult to get certain roles, and he has been made fun of on Game of Thrones and other roles for his height.
Yeah.
So what would be the hope now? Would it be for Disney to do a complete U-turn, Dylan?
100%. Myself, Choon. We could find 5 other dwarves as well. I would love. It's 4:14 in the morning. I'm sleepy dwarf just fine right about now. Or my son would call me grumpy dwarf. It's one of the, like, I would love to. Hell, I would be a stunt double for one of the dwarves. Like, this is a role made for me and our community for the first time ever. I can't be Superman or Spider-Man or Captain America. I can be one of the 7 dwarves. As a dwarf actor, a part of the dwarf community, this is made for me finally. That never happens. Not in a major role setting like this. When The Greatest Showman came out, I couldn't go out for Hugh Jackman's character, but I could be one of the side acts, and that's absolutely amazing. But this isn't a side act. This is a main role. And if you think about it, in the original adaptations, they were almost a bigger character, or as big of a character as Snow White herself. So it's very, very unfortunate. I do hope Disney does a complete U-turn and takes our voice into consideration. My phone is on, Disney. Choon's phone is on.
Disney are listening.
I think it's just hoping. It's just hoping that they're different.
That's a very shameless cheap plug, but it's honest.
It's right.
It really is. I hope they do a U-turn and they really take other voices into consideration.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think you hope their different approach will be talking to the community directly that it affects, and maybe not someone that's living in a mansion and has a lovely life that this doesn't affect so much right now, you know. Well, thank you both.
Good luck to
Thank you both very much, and good luck. And
Thank you very much.
I hope that there's a real change of heart with that. I really, really do.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.